I can do this all day. Hey guys, this is Frozen Wish Studios here, and welcome back to another movie review. And with the release of Captain America: Brave New World, I am here today to continue my review marathon in preparation for that film. I just did the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and now I'm gonna be doing the Captain America Steve Rogers trilogy. Kicking things off with the one that started all Captain America the First Avenger. So Captain America the First Avenger is the I think the fourth MCU movie overall, and as well as the fourth installment in the MCU Phase One, and the first installment in the Captain America quadrilogy. It came out in the year 2000. Oh wait, actually, I realized fifth. My bad. Yeah, it's the fifth MCU movie, and it came out in the year 2011. It's the second MCU movie of that year, with the first being Thor, and it is directed by Joe Johnston, who I think directed Jurassic Park 3 and oh yeah, he did. He directed Jurassic Park 3, Jumanji, Honey I Shrunk the Kids, and the 2010 Wolfman, The Rocketeer, and Nutcracker, the Four Realms. Yeah, not a great director there. And it stars Chris Evans, Haley Atwell, Sebastian Stan, Tommy Lee Jones, Hugo Weaving, Dominic Cooper, Richard Armitage, Stanley Tucci, Samuel L. Jackson, Toby Jones, etc. And so the film tells a story taking place during World War II, where Steve Rogers joins the military despite being a super short-sized person. He gets bullied and judged for his size. But as a brilliant scientist, Howard Stark, who you may know as Tony Stark's father, conducts this experiment that will give people the super soldier serum. Steve Rogers was chosen to be the subject of the experiment. So under the experiment of Howard Stark, he becomes a big man with muscles. He becomes a lot taller now, and he even gains super strength. And so with his super strength, he becomes the center of attention for World War II. As he must as he becomes Captain America. He now Captain America must stop the Red Skull, Adolf Hitler's ruthless head of weaponry, and the leader of an organization that intends to use a mysterious device of untold powers for world domination. So now yep, we're talking about the Steve Rogers Captain America trilogy, and this is basically one of the MCU's origin stories. As you know, yeah, and now personally to me, I know this may come as a surprise for you because I tend to talk about Captain Iron Man more than Captain America, but I'm actually more of a Captain America fan than an Iron Man fan. Sure, yeah, I love Iron Man. Iron Man was actually my childhood. Iron Man's one of those heroes who I grew up with, who I grew up loving. But just looking deeper into Captain America, I think Captain America is just a better character overall, and I just find myself more invested in this character, and so yeah, considering that this is a film about the first Avenger, and arguably one of the most famous MCU characters, Marvel characters ever. This had to be something truly special, something that can be as good as the first Iron Man, because not only is this film about the first Avenger, but it is also the setup to the Avengers. I think it was a great idea to release this film before the Avengers, which was the cinematic event of its time. Now, I still think Phase One is the weakest MCU phase to me. I mean, I respect Phase One for what it's trying to do. It's trying to tackle all of these origin stories of heroes. You know, like Iron Man, Hulk. Even though the Hulk one was a reboot, Thor, and now Captain America, all leading up to the Avengers. Even though the Avengers had Black Widow and Hawkeye, two characters who did not get their origin story movies beforehand. I respect what it's trying to do. I just think that I don't know. It's probably because it's not owned by Disney. Because back then the MCU, including this film, used to be owned by Paramount Studios. The Avengers was the first MCU movie to be owned by Disney. Or maybe Disney had involvement in this film. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But yeah, I mean, I respect Phase One for for its like simpler times and all that stuff. But I just think that watching these Phase One movies would not have made me an MCU fan. I think the Avengers would have been like the Avengers and certain Phase Two MCU movies would have been like among the first MCU movies to make me become an MCU fan. Yeah, and yeah, I didn't watch this film in theaters. I because didn't watch Marvel back then. Besides the first two Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, I didn't really watch Marvel at the time. The Avengers was the first MCU movie I saw in theaters, so there's that. And so yeah, and I know that this film was got divisive reviews when it came out. As people were all saying it's just okay but not great. But certainly the a step up from the previous MCU movie Thor. Well, that was the consensus. And yeah, so what are my thoughts on Captain America: The First Avenger? Well, I will say that is it like the best, the greatest first movie debut that Steve Rogers as Captain America could have had? No. But is it still a great MCU movie? Yes, it is. While it doesn't fully live up to its potential to be one of the best, the most special MCU films, Captain America the First Avenger is one of the most underappreciated films in the MCU and among the best that Phase 1 had to offer. Despite it being easily, and I mean by far, the weakest Captain America movie. Now, yes, I can acknowledge that 2011 was not a strong year for the MCU, for like superhero movies in general. I still do not like Thor. I think Thor is very mediocre and overrated and boring. And then you got Green Lantern, which is shit. And you got what else is there? Oh yeah, the Green Hornet. Although I will say that the Green Hornet it is actually a guilty pleasure. I actually don't mind the Green Hornet, but maybe I'm biased because that movie came on my birthday. But I mean, it's actually it's not a great movie, but it is a decent movie for what it is. It is like a dumb fun movie. Although I do need to give that movie a rewatch and and Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, which is shit. Yeah, yeah, it is like, ugh. But then you also have X-Men First Class, which to me is the best superhero movie of of 2011 and the only superhero masterpiece of 2011. But this one right here, would be my second favorite superhero movie of 2011. Second only behind the X-Men First Class. And it is easily the better one of the two MCU movies. Honestly, it's not even close. What's interesting about this movie is the fact that the origin story is actually stronger than the action, which is something you wouldn't expect in an MCU origin movie. Yes. Now I did mention earlier that I'm more of a Captain America fan than an Iron Man fan. And while the first Iron Man movie from 2008 is a stronger quality movie, this film has the better and more interesting origin story. The origin story of a short soldier who became like a super soldier. All things to the experiment of Howard Stark. The CGI of Chris Evans being so short is absolutely ahead of its time. It looks so good and it looks so believable that he is actually short until he becomes his real self once the experiment happens. So, yeah, I mean, Chris Evans being tall with big muscles, that's actually his real self. And his short self was CGI. Having a World War II setting makes this one of the most unique films in the MCU. The film is it's a historical fiction that not only as not only does it have soldiers who represents real life soldiers, but you got a villain who represents Hitler, who goes by the name of Red Skull. Even though Red Skull is technically Hitler's associate, but whatever. I don't know how people feel about him, if they actually like him or not. I don't really read a lot of reviews for this film for some reason, but I think he's a solid villain. The cast ensemble in this film is a lot bigger than one can think. Chris Evans as Captain America absolutely shines, proving that he is the definitive Captain America actor. And one of the main examples as to why I think the MCU movies have the best casting choices in like in any movie, the best cast ensemble, because every actor is absolutely perfect for the role. Okay, maybe not everyone, but the ones who are, it does have some of the greatest casting choices in all of Marvel. And Chris Evans is the definitive Captain America. He is Steve Rogers is unbeatable. Even if unlike other biased MCU haters, I do accept someone else taking on the mantle of Captain America. Of Captain America. Haley Atwell is absolutely the standout of the film as Peggy Carter, who is on par with Black Widow as the best character in the MCU's Phase One. Like the romance between Steve and Peggy works. You can feel the chemistry between them without the movie having to flesh them out. You just instantly get the feeling that they're perfect for each other. Yeah, there's like no long scenes of this them like being in love. Like you just know it. Yeah, the supporting cast is also insane, from the likes of Tommy Lee Jones, Hugo Weaving, Toby Jones, Dominic Cooper, Stanley Tucci, and even Natalie Dormer in a cameo role. Yeah, I mean, Natalie Dormer is honestly really hot in this one. Like honestly, I would have loved to see Natalie Dormer's character be like a more prominent and much bigger MCU character than just a cameo role. The score is a banger, especially when a lot of the tracks in this film are played in future MCU movies. Like one example being the score played. Like remember the scene in Endgame where Captain America like picks up Thor's hammer and then you hear the score playing that scene. Yeah, I actually didn't notice until now that that score was actually in this film, originated from this film. It's insane. Now, as much as I can sing this movie's praises on how underappreciated it is, it's not without its flaws, and it's actually a mid tier MCU movie in comparison to other MCU movies. But so yeah, let's get into this movie's flaws. So while the cast is stacked, some of them were wasted, like Stanley Tucci, for example, whose character gets killed of 30 minutes into the movie after his character was such a great mentor to Steve. Yeah, I think that they should have gave him more since he as Steve's mentor. Well, at least he gave a way better performance in this film than in you know Transformers: Age of Extinction. Ugh. Now I love Bucky Barnes. I think Bucky is one of the best characters of this new era of the MCU right now. But honestly, I did not care about him in this one. Sadly, Bucky was such a flat and boring character who didn't really do anything despite just being there behind Steve's back. There is a reason as to why I forget he was in this film. I tend to forget a lot that Bucky was in this film, and now I can see why, because his character was not handled well. Like not a great way to introduce this character who is still in the MCU to this day, which is insane. That he probably now has some more screen time in the MCU than Steve Rogers. But thankfully, Marvel did improve his character later on with the Winter Soldier, and then so on and so forth in the MCU. The action scenes were all right, but unfortunately, all right is kind of a low point for MCU action because the action is supposed to be one of the best aspects of the MCU. It's supposed to be like one of them, but it's not up to par. It's not up to par with the action that I want to see in the MCU. Like they felt a tad bit flat and kind of lacking intensity, excitement, and just real stakes to it. No, it's not bad. I don't dislike the action. Don't get me wrong. I think for the kind of action that you'd expect in a war movie, I think it is great, pretty solid. The like great war movie, but as an MCU movie with as MCU action goes, yeah, it's just could have been better. Yeah, but I'm gonna have to consider it a flaw, and because the action, yeah, because you're supposed to like have action be this good, yeah, so yeah, but there is one action scene that I think is truly great. That really gets me pumped for it. Like that was the chase sequence after Steve got the super serum, where this guy who secretly worked for Hydra blew up the lab and kills off Stanley Tucci's character, and then we see Steve Rogers like chasing after that the Hydra agent. Yeah, that was actually the best action scene in the entire film. So overall, Captain America: The First Avenger features one of the best MCU origin stories with strong performances from an insanely huge cast ensemble. Although the action could have been more badass. Oh yeah, also I forgot to talk about the pacing. Sure, yes, we don't see Captain America fully, Steve Rogers fully put on his Captain America like costume that we know and love until like the third act of the film. But at least I think the pacing is not bad. I don't think it's boring at all. Yeah, because of how engaging the story is. So yeah, it's certainly not one of the best MCU movies, as it is a mid-tier MCU film, but it is one of the better Phase One MCU films for sure. I would rank this at number three in my MCU Phase One ranking, behind the Avengers and the first Iron Man movie. So with that said, guys, I'm going to give Captain America: The First Avenger 4 stars out of 5. Great movie. So also for my review of Captain America: The First Avenger, what are your thoughts in the film? Uh, would you agree with me that this is an underappreciated film that deserves more recognition, and that this is one of the best origin stories ever told in the MCU? Do you love this movie more than I do, or do you think that this movie is not good at all? It is mediocre. Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my movie review on Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which is a peak MCU movie. So yeah, bye guys.